Oh boy. Look at that. Look at those rainbow layers. Hey everyone, it's Kenji. I'm making a Italian sub, an Italian hoagie, whatever you want to call it. Whoop. All right. So the real key to an Italian hoagie, I think, goes into the dressing of it. You know, well, getting good quality meats, of course, but the dressing. You know, the salad, the vegetable element. So at my favorite spot in Seattle for an Italian sub, which is Post-Alt Pizza, they use a ton of bitter greens like chicories, and I think that's really great. You know, the very basic one you can do just straight up iceberg lettuce, but I love mixing in bitter greens with it. So I got some radicchio. You know, you could also do like escarole, you could do frisee, anything sort of bitter and green. You could do it with just iceberg, of course, but that would be ridiculous. All right, so thin sliced iceberg, thin sliced radicchio. We're gonna get that into a bowl because we're gonna dress all that, and that's gonna become sort of the dressing for the sandwich. I'm also gonna get some real thin sliced red onion, and I'm gonna mix that right in rather than go separate. All right, in we go. And then we're just gonna season this. We're gonna dress it up. So salt, pepper, vinegar. This is red wine vinegar, but you can do whatever vinegar you want. If you want, you could also put some oregano in there. Some people go in with some oregano. I don't have any right this second, so I'm not going to. And then some really good olive oil. I'm using the Primus, which is imported from Greece from by my buddy Damien Primus. All right, so we're gonna dress this all up. Let's taste it, make sure it's seasoned nicely. Yum. Okay. Then the other key to a great sub roll, a great Italian, is good bread. And unfortunately, I don't have the best bread right now. I just have this Whole Foods baguette chunk. No, it's not Whole Foods. This is from, oh shoot, what's the bakery? We got this at the farmer's market yesterday because my kids wanted lunch. They said they wanted to get lunch at the farmer's market, and then all they wanted was half a baguette that they shoved down their gullet with a handful of blueberries. But we're gonna split it open. You know, ideally a hoagie roll is a little bit different from a baguette. It's a little bit sort of, I would say crustier on the outside than the typical baguette you get in the US. Oftentimes they're also gonna be seeded with sesame seeds, which I think is a good way to do it. That's how they do theirs at Post-Alt Pizza. But we're gonna scoop out the inside so that we have plenty of space for our abundant fillings. Some people put mayo on theirs. I think mayo doesn't really belong on an Italian sub. We're just gonna do some olive oil on the bread. Okay, then we'll start layering in our stuff. I got some provolone cheese. We're going as thin slice as possible. You know, I specifically asked them to slice this as thin as possible at the deli, but it came out not extraordinarily thin, but whatever. And then we got some spicy calabrese sausage here. Salami. This one's a little thinner. And I've got some Genoa salami. We are mixing meats here. I've heard some people say that, you know, one should never mix their meats, but I think it's, on an Italian, it's kind of necessary. And we got some mortadella. So I'm going to lay these flat. There is like some amount of debate over whether Italian sub ingredients should be, you know, fluffy like this. Like Cooks Illustrated put out this article where they said the key to a great sandwich like this is air. And then who was it? I think maybe Ethan Klabowski put out a video in response to that saying that the key to a great sandwich like this is no air. And I tend to be more on the Ethan side of this. I think, actually, let's layer these a little bit so that we get full coverage. I think on an Italian, I want no air. I want it to be real dense and compact. All right, next we're going in with some tomato. For this one, you know, it is tomato season here, and we got some real excellent tomatoes at the farmer's market yesterday, but I find that, you know, the in-season heirloom tomatoes are better enjoyed on their own because they're a little too squishy to put into a sandwich. They're real good in a like a BLT or a tomato and mayo sandwich, but for something like this, I prefer like a slightly firmer tomato because otherwise everything just kind of squishes out. David Chang said that in his BLT he likes a really bad tomato, you know, like a really non-juicy supermarket tomato, and I think he's nuts. I think the BLT is the time when you should go for the best tomato. But I like a good amount of this salad in the middle, like that. I think the entire thing's going to be kind of full of this, and that's what's going to provide all the seasoning. You don't have to add any extra salt or pepper. Oh, I also got these Mama Lil's pickled peppers. Any kind of pickled hot pepper will do, but these are particularly nice and they're local. A little sweet and spicy. Okay. And now we will close it all up. We want to kind of compress it down in there so that the bread can really wrap around. That's looking good. All right, and then finally, the other key step is you want to wrap this guy up. You gotta wrap it, you know, in the same way that, like, I find an Italian is best when you've walked home a couple blocks and you've given all the ingredients a little bit of time to sort of mingle and marinate, right? So we're gonna wrap that up so it's a little bit compressed, and then leave it here, and we'll wait about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and cut into it and see how it is. Okay? So I'll see you in. All right, 5 minutes. So Tessa was asking what you do with all these innards. The answer is you can feed some to Chen. There you go, bud. You can also toast them and turn them into breadcrumbs, obviously. The way, you know, my friend Jim Leahy from Sullivan Street Bakery in New York, he suggests that to make the best breadcrumbs, you take this stuff, you put it inside a bowl, and you get it wet, and then you squeeze out all the moisture, and then you put it into a low oven to dehydrate it, and you get a sort of superior texture for breadcrumbs. I don't know. I've tried it both ways. I think it actually works pretty well. Yeah, Chen, we got a sandwich coming. All right, so let's cut this open and see what we got. Oh boy. Look at that. Look at those rainbow layers. And that nicely dressed salad in the middle. Let's pop it out and taste it. Lena, do you want some? Tessa, do you want some?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Why, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Cheers. The provolone could be thinner, but...
So could I.
Mm.
Oh! Whoa.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh.
You guys need a napkin? Mm.
That's it.
That's a good sandwich. All right.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you something. This kind of it's pretty easy once you get good ingredients and okay bread. Here, one more little bite. All right. I'll stick the recipe up. Not that it really needs a recipe, but I'll stick the recipe up on my my Patreon. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals. See you later.